Bum. Hello YouTube, and yeah, just like the video says, we're making a Godzilla suit. So, this is going to be multiple parts. Alright, to basically describe what type of shape you need, it's pretty much a box. It's a little bit long, and you got a slightly thin box on top. And that's pretty much the basics of the head that you need. Because this would be the top of the nose, this would be the front of the mouth, this would be the cheek, and obviously it'll be a little bit more curved. So, to kind of plot this out for you, let's see. Alright, so you kind of have the nose piece. You have a cheek that's like that. Okay? And that'll be the side of the mouth, and you would copy that same width over here. And wherever length this is, that'll be your muzzle, the top of your nose. And you can kind of curve that if you need to, kind of give it more animal look. You have to have something for the eye sockets. So yeah, you'll have to come into this a little bit, cut that little top part out. Kind of a bridge of the nose where it meets the eyes, so kind of have something like that. And for the top of the head, kind of going with like a old-fashioned shield there, like a, you know, and you can cut out little pie-shaped pieces to kind of curve it. That's pretty much it. You know, you'll have, of course, this will be the same length as this, so you glue this piece together, you glue that piece to there, and that piece to there, and vice versa. You kind of use a heat gun to, curve it a little bit. I hope that simplifies the design a little bit. Make it with paper first, kind of get your, your dimensions appropriate first before cutting anything out. You don't want to waste any tissue or anything like that. I mean, any supplies. Alright, see my pattern here. I got a kind of like shield shape for the top of the head, and two eyes kind of placed, and some cheeks. And you can see I traced everything onto EVA foam, and it's all ready to be cut out. And here you see that I cut it out. I'm ready to start bending it and gluing it together. I started to put some backing to it. This is just kind of to help when I bend it to keep it shaped. More of an L-shaped design for the bridge of the nose where it meets the eyes. And when I pull all the sides together and glue them, it kind of makes this design. Kind of made like a shoe-like design once it's all the pieces are glued together. And it doesn't look like much now, but it's just a little something sturdy for the foam to go over, and I can build off of it. It's just kind of like a skeleton, basically. And I'm going to trace the inside of this and kind of give the mouth a little bit better shape. Okay, I'm keeping this kind of pressed down. I kind of press the flaps out a little bit on both sides. And I'm going to trace the negative side, I guess you would call it, of the foam. And that'll be like the little insert for the mouth. And all my teeth can glue onto it, and it will give it kind of a roof of the mouth. And here's the piece. To make sure it was even, I just would fold it in half and cut out any pieces that didn't match up. It'll go face up, and I'll just press this out and glue these pieces together. Alright, I cut out some triangle pieces, and I'm just gluing them in there. I finished the bottom. It was a little bit too wide, so I just cut out like a kind of like a pie-shaped design and just kind of pressed it inward, so it has that natural curve of a roof of a mouth. Alright, using this head as a template, I made a bottom jaw piece. It's a little bit more curved, so it has more of a hinge to be able to open. And I measured this out. It's like 23.5 inches. And I'm going to just measure just a long strip and cut it out about 2 inches thick. And that'll make the jawline once I just glue it to this piece. And the only difference is around the very end pieces, I'll put a little bit of a ball-like shape so that can work as a hinge. That'll attach to the inside of this bottom cheek. And I'll just put something inside and it'll be able to swing. Okay, so this will be the outer part of the jawline, and I folded it in half to mark the center point, which I'll line up with the inner part of the mouth. Glue it all together here a little bit, but I will definitely start with the middle. Okay, I got the jawline on, and I noticed it was too wide, so I just cut another piece of pie out, and I'm going to fold it in and glue it like that. And I started rounding off the edges, and that way it has a little bit of a thinner look to it. And I also put some insertion marks for these rounded edges so they can line up and fit into one another, so I can put some sort of hinge on the inside of the top piece. I'm going to glue all that together. Okay, the jawline is done, and once I put a hole in here, I can make some sort of hinge so it sticks in, so it has that nice swinging motion, maybe like a spring right here, so it'll pop up and down. Yeah, I got that nice and curved in, shaved a little bit more off the chin so it's nice and thinner. And just to give this back a little bit more dome, I cut 3 triangle pieces off the top of the head. And once I glue those together, it'll be nice and curved head. I opened up the eyes a little bit more, and I'm cutting out another little pie shape piece out of this, and I'm going to glue it together and kind of wedge it together like I did on this side. What does that do? It gives me kind of like a curved cheekbone, so it's not just like a straight flat, you know, side of the face. And I'll just finish that up and move on. I started making these ridges. It's just 2 pieces of foam, kind of like in little jagged edges. I'm not sure if they'll stay this particular size. I might have to file them down once I put the foam on. But he has like probably about 7 of these little bumps on the top of his head, leading into the spikes on his neck. So I'm just going to put one dead center and try it out for size. If not, I'll just file it down or just rip it off. But I got nice curved cheekbones, and I'll see how that looks. Okay, I actually did like the ridges, so I would put like make it a little bit thinner in the front and spread it out towards the back. These will all need to be shaved down a little bit earlier, but it has that start of his scales on the top of his head look, and this is just like a framework. Again, just like all of this is just framework, and I'll know where to place it once I put the foam on, and that's where all the detail will come from. But this is just I think I am truly ready to start with the bedding foam. I've made multiple drawings of how the cheek is and the nose and everything like that, going with classic, or I would say the 90s style, 1989 to the death of Godzilla style. So there's almost like a cat-like look with the puffy cheeks and nose shape and everything like that, and it also has ears, which I'll place. But I'm going to start with the eyes because that's where you really should start. And everything will fall into place once you got the eyes right. Just like a portrait. So, okay, I'm going to start cutting out some foam. Starting to work with the bedding foam. I made 2 of these ear-shaped looking things. They actually go around the eyes. It's kind of like this puffy look, almost like a mask, just around the eyes leading up to the ear piece, which will be over here. Whatever you do for one side, you gotta evenly make for the opposite, of course. So it'll be the eye piece, another eye piece, cheek piece, another cheek piece, just to make sure everything's like looking right. Okay, got the kind of bandit look on right now. I left these little pieces on because I still have to put the top piece on, and this has to overlap it somehow. So for the nose, I just made like a circle and kind of cut the like an M shape into it, just like how a dog nose would look. And I just turned my scissors to the side and just trimmed off every square edge that I could, try and make it as round as possible. And I'm working on the puppy, I guess, front part of his mouth. And it was like a semicircle. And again, rounded it off, put a split down the center. You can't really tell in this light, but there is like a gap there. Put some cheeks on them, and a small like triangular cheek with it's not quite glued down yet. I'll have to round these out and then put a large majority of the bumps. Another strip here, another strip there, and start putting the top pieces and ears on, and I can move on to the jawline. Okay, a lot more padding in the gaps. I need to put a little bit more around here to puff up that cheek and shave down some of this stuff. It looks lumpy right now, but there's going to be outer skin later. This just helps to give everything shape. I cut I guess you would say 1/4 inch strip, and this is going to be the lips. I'm going to wrap this all the way around the corners, and that gives them that lizard lips that I need. And so he can look less like a cat right now. And I'll get some of the stuff on top here, and we'll move on to the jaw. Okay, I got the lips on. I got a nice wrap around on both sides. And it'll connect around the mouth eventually. I've been filling in these strips with just something similar to the lips, and just hot gluing them down, kind of overlapping them in the middle. Kind of gives it a nice mean look. And eventually I'll chip out little scales on this and have some sculpted scales just here and there placed on top where once I do the outer skin. Okay, I got the lips done, and I put it on the bottom jaw too and attached them. Still not really solid in the back, it's just loose right now. And I'm going to work on the neck now, which will just basically be a tube that'll attach to this area. So I'm just going to have to work on that and put that on, and my head will actually see out of the neck, and that's the main thing. Like I said, it's pretty much a tube. Now for my neck template, it'll be a little bit over a foot in length. You'll probably measure from your shoulders to the above your head, where Godzilla's head actually is at the very top. Whatever that information of inches is, that's what you'll go with for your length. At the very top of that foot length of EVA foam, you're going to cut out like little pie shaped pieces, and you'll glue those together and it'll actually curve, and it'll give you a natural curve to attach to the top of the head. Okay, I measured a foot from the edge, and that's how long the net's going to be. The whole reason for the EVA foam, or this floor mat foam, is to make sure it's nice and sturdy, because the bedding foam, the poly foam or whatever you want to call it, it's just not going to be strong enough. And this gives it a nice sturdy spine. Now, I might actually put some scrap pieces glued to the inside, and maybe even some cloth glued to the inside, so it has a nice sturdy base, because hot glue doesn't really stand the test of time, especially during heat. Okay, so now I got a nice curved look for the neck. My head will fit pretty much where my hand is. I'm just going to hold it up to the actual head, like so, and I'll find a way to, the best way I feel to attach it. I'll have to cut away a little bit, and then I can proceed with some more foam. Of course, after I put some stuff on the inside and help give it a little bit more spine work so it doesn't flop around on me. Okay, moving on. Got my center point and got that neck pretty much where I want it. I'll have pretty much where my thumb is, and all this stuff right here will probably have to be cut out so the jaw can fit into place. But that is pretty good. That gives me the right amount of height. I'm going to have to actually cut into this a little bit around the edges so my shoulders can fit in, and cover it in bedding foam. At the base of the neck, I cut out kind of like a horseshoe design, and those little pie shape creases out of it, and I glued those little sections together and gives me a nice curve. And this hits the nape of my neck and gives the whole monster neck something to rest on, so my head will pop out of this area. And I haven't really glued everything down yet, but I'm going to start putting some muscles around the neck and thicken it out, and we'll put some skin on it. Once you have all your shapes pretty much planned out, take a little hot glue, and what I'm doing here is just kind of layering these little triangle arrowhead like pieces on, and that pretty much gives you some scales. The larger pieces that I'll do for like the back and the overall body, I'll blend the edges with like these little chunks right here, so it'll kind of, you know, hide all those imperfections, like these little edges and these little edges will disappear in all the scale detail. I'll trim these down still, but it gives me, like, I'll trim that down, but it gives it a much better scaly design, and you know, it's going to have a great effect once it's finished. Again, just come and get like a square strip that's like a 1/4 inch thick, and just come into little arrowhead designs and just layer them back to front. Okay, I got a lot of scale details throughout the top of the head. For right now, I attached the jaw with a small PVC pipe. It gives it a swivel, and I put fabric around the edges of the jaw. And I just shave around the jagged edges, and I'll do more scale work to kind of hide all the imperfections. I'm going to put a triangle piece like so, and kind of blend it into the top. It'll still slightly be attached and it'll still be able to swing, but it'll have that muscle line right there that it needs to have to puff out those cheeks. I can't do this area around the neck until I get somewhat of the chest and back finished, and I'm leaving the back blank because that's where the flap for the spine is going to be attached. Okay, Godzilla has two types of scales. His main body scales are kind of like tree bark. It's kind of like little sections like that just keep on going over and over again. You would actually fill up the whole sheet like that. Now, his underbelly almost looks like bricks. I mean, just kind of a little bit more rounded. And you would put that design on the chest, underneath the neck, and underneath the jawline. So, those two right there. I took a Sharpie and started planning out my scales, and it wasn't that hard. I'm going to go in and just cut along the lines, and you can see the groove marks. Pretty much going to have to do this with all your pieces of foam. Alright, well, good luck with that. I'm going to do this. I won't have a social life for a week. Hours later, 3 to 4 should do it. This is about, let's say about 6, maybe 7 feet long. That barky scales of Godzilla, and it turned out alright. It's just painstakingly time consuming. So, yeah, I'm going to start cutting this into sections. Alright, this is how you should truly cut your foam. This is a wood burner. It's at full heat, and I'm just cutting through that like butter. Look at that. I wasted all that time working with scissors. Yeah, wood burner, full heat. I'm just getting underneath, right here, and look at that. That's fantastic. I wish I would have known this earlier. It would save me so much time. Okay, yeah, so new trick, instead of using scissors, use this to cut your details into your foam. Alright, cut out the details of the bottom of the mouth. Looks like a bunch of bricks, actually. It's pretty much the design you're going for. And as I hold it back, has a neck, a side, top of the head, and I'm going to put some ears on it, and teeth. Still working on those teeth. And I do have plans for the eyes, but that's going to be for our next video where I cover eyes and teeth.